Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, my name is Reavyne and welcome back to my channel. Now last night there was another Warriors Den live stream and this one was pretty light in terms of content, and there was a whole lot of talking because we got the Q&A segment based on the state of balance that they put out. A bunch of people asked a bunch of questions and Stefan was there to answer them as best as he could. So to make this nice and snappy, I'm going to read out the question, I'm going to read out their answer, and then you guys can pretty much just take whatever you want from that, and I'll give my opinion here and there if I think it's warranted. But overall there was nothing that insane with this Warriors Den, but before we get into that, let's get into the content of the week, and that is one of the craziest things I've seen. I thought shrooms was bad enough, okay? I thought mushrooms, okay, they're doing mushrooms, that's weird, that's crazy. We have the content of the week, the penguin walk emote. Penguin. Now, I love penguins, okay? Penguins are freaking cool. They're stupid. I love how they fall down and they're all just like so goofy. But I honestly have no idea what the fuck this is and what the devs are smoking when they put this in here. Like I said, it's cool for the novelty of it. Is it going to be worth 7,000 steel? God fucking, I don't think so. I don't know, is it? You guys let me know down below in the comment section, because I sure as hell have no fucking idea. But yeah, penguins. Well, I don't know what's next. We had shrooms, we have penguins. Lord help us. But as far as content's concerned, that was pretty much it. Now we're going to get into the Q&A section. So I'm just going to read out the question, read out the answer, and then we'll go from there. So the first question that was important was the recent buff to dodge iframes intended? Now, Stefan said no, that wasn't intended, and it was an issue that they're currently investigating because, yeah, it wasn't supposed to be a thing. Turns out it was a thing, and it's quite an OP thing, so at least they're fixing it, which is cool. Now, we know whenever they start investigating something, it'll take a little bit for it to get fixed, but, you know, let's hope it's quick with this one. Next question was, some characters have an instant startup of their blocks when they dodge. These are Kensei, Conqueror, Black Prior, and Tiandi. This allows them to reaction block some 400 MS attacks from neutral and negate mix-ups like PK's dagger cancel. Do you intend to remove this 0 MS startup on defense moves and standardize them to 100 MS like all other guard switches? Now, Stefan's answer was yes. Stefan said they would prefer it so you dodge, and then after basically 100 MS window, okay, then it switches across and you can block. So that would be really, really cool because that would be kind of fair. And I completely agree, okay? Whenever you dodge, you know, you dodge and then it has to switch across and then you can block something. That makes sense. That's fair. And dodging's supposed to be a reaction move anyway. So like if you see someone doing an attack, you want to dodge out of it, and you want to do the dodge at the point where they've committed to their attack anyway, so that way they can't, you know, just feint and hit you with something else or guard break you. That's generally what you want to do. So that makes sense in terms of blocking as well when it comes to dodging. So hopefully they can fix this and standardize it across the board, because the fact that it's only on the Kensei, Conk, Black Prior, and Tiandi is kind of bullshit. And although it is a small sort of thing, it is a big sort of thing whenever you're versing those types of characters. Next question was, there is still a 200 MS delay between switching guards and attacking / guard breaking for static guard characters, and it makes attacking after fainting far worse for static guard characters. Is this intentional, and can it be removed, please? Question mark. And the answer to this was basically a resounding yes, they do plan to change this because they understand that it's shit, and once again, they're looking to standardize things across the board for things that just make sense, which is quite cool. But they want it to be 100 MS for every single hero, essentially what Stefan said he wants to do. And once again, I'm fully for this because when it comes to certain things like this, just like, you know, every character should be able to get a heavy off a guard break. It's just little things like this that need to be standardized for the sake of the game just being healthy and everything making sense, because otherwise it gets too complicated if everyone's like on these little levels. The flavor needs to be in the characters themselves, not in terms of like, you know, the actual gameplay mechanics only working for some people and not really working for others. That is kind of bullshit, so it's a good thing they're fixing it. Next question that was important was, Black Prior has the old guard switch recovery that prevents dodging for 300 MS after a guard switch. This was originally removed for static guard heroes in Season 6. Will it be removed for the Black Prior as well? Now, essentially, once again, Stefan said it was one of those things that when the Black Prior came out with, like, you know, all the stuff was happening, they did forget about that, and it will also be 100 MS. Yeah, it was just overall overlooked in the grand scheme of things, and you know, I guess it's understandable when certain things are happening. I don't know what they do when they're making the heroes, if they just use like a base template and then they change stuff from there. Not really sure, but yeah, hopefully they fix that soon, because with Black Pride there's a few things here and there which, like I said, that people have been bringing up in the Q&A, which is really, really nice, but there's a few things that make him more strong than he needs to be just because they overlooked it, or it makes him weaker than he needs to be, once again just because the devs overlooked it. So hopefully they can standardize that and standardize a bunch of other stuff and get it, you know, back to where he needs to be. But so far so good with the Black Prior. He's not, you know, completely broken and not completely shit, which is a good thing. Although we do need to talk about those goddamn 20 damage lights, which are insane, and they didn't really go over that from what I can remember. But yeah, that needs to be changed. That needs to be fixed. Please balance that. That's kind of fucked. Now, this next question was a big one, and it was actually quite a funny one because I haven't seen many people do this. So this must be like, maybe like, you know, those top echelon players who do that sort of bullshit where they, you know, were doing all the unlock tech and all that other crap back in the day. Because for the general player that I see, I don't really see this much, but we're going to go over it anyway because I found it really funny, just like the fact that people do this and go to this extent when it comes to games. But the question was, in fact, many characters' offense can be avoided by faster characters merely walking backwards. And many more by unlock sprinting. That one I've seen a fair bit, but not the walking backwards one. Are the devs looking at any ways to limit the ability of characters to avoid offense when spacing, at least in duel modes? That's probably why I don't play duel modes that much, because they're boring. I prefer, you know, 4v4s. But the answer was yes, there is also unlock rolling, which can be a problem. These methods can be used to negate a lot of mix-ups. They are looking at fixing this globally by standardizing some things such as forward and backwards walk, strafe, speed. Now, once again, that works, and it goes back to what I was saying before, where I like the fact that they're standardizing things across the board. Things like this make sense, okay? I would even like it more standardized between certain classes. So, you know, assassins should be faster than heavies. That's just something that should be a thing. Heavies, they should be able to take more damage health-wise and everything. Then assassins, that should just be a thing. And that should be standard across, you know, all assassins have the same thing. All heavies have the same thing. And then there's certain things like, you know, paramechanics and, you know, guard breaks, all this sort of stuff that is standard across everyone. That's how I'd go about it, but I like the fact that they're still going about it in terms of just trying to standardize stuff across the board, and that might fix the issue. I don't know what everyone's deal is with like, you know, unlocking and rolling around and unlock tech and all this bullshit. Just play the fucking game, please. Just lock onto the guy you're versing. Don't run away like a bitch, and try and crush his face. Is that so hard to ask? Like, come on, guys. Can we all just as a community stop the bullshit? But yeah, I found that question really, really funny. I had no idea people just like walking backwards really quick to avoid shit. That's funny. And the next question has to do with Mr. Gladiator, Mr. Steal Yo Toes. Okay, so the question was, will Gladiator's unnaturally short guard duration ever be buffed? But for those of you who do not know, all assassins have reflex guard, so it stays up for a couple seconds or so, and then it goes away and it decays, and then you cop the hit. So you need to sort of flick your guard to block stuff instead of just keeping it wherever you want, like a static guard. Now, Gladiator has an unnaturally short version of that. Once again, I have no idea why that was ever a thing. But it was a thing. Maybe it was something they overlooked and they just never got to it. But the answer was they are experimenting with this right now. Stefan doesn't see issues with bumping both of the shorter guards to be equal, given the currently underperforming stats in 4v4s. So essentially he's like, yeah, we could sort of buff him because all the assassins are getting raped in 4v4s. Thanks for that. Really appreciate it. I don't know why it's been like that since the start. Like I said, I like the idea that they're going with reflex guards and static guards. But then again, they've nerfed so many things in other places. I don't see the place for fucking reflex guards anymore. I never really liked it either. There's one thing I hate about assassins. I love playing the assassins. I hated the fact that we had reflex guard, and the fact that at least they're looking at fixing it for Gladiator, which has a shorter reflex guard. That's going to be good for Gladiator players. Hopefully they can sort of just work on the reflex guard in general, because it's also real funky sometimes. You'll go to do it and it won't really work and it'll fuck out in certain things. And plus, it sucks when you're getting ganked in 4v4s. They need to really work on that, but they said they are, which is really, really good. Now, this next question, I didn't really like the answer to, but we're going to go over it and then I'll give my thoughts. So the question was, will you give Peacekeeper some sort of unblockable or bash? They are actually useful in ganks. The answer was they think that it'll be a little better once the revenge changes go through. Additionally, as a Peacekeeper or a Rochi, you can still throw out a guard break, which needs to be reacted and force an opening. Now, the reason why I don't like this is because for the longest time, we've been saying this, everyone's been saying this, the whole community's been saying this, heroes that don't have good openers are pretty much, they struggle and they're shit for the most part because they have to work so hard just to fucking land something. And also, if you, once again, in 4v4s and stuff, if you don't really have an opener, you're sort of just like swinging your dick in the corner while everyone else is having fun. And that sort of doesn't really, that's not fun. And of course, that relegates you to just trying to do the only thing you can do, which is really, really quick gets guaranteed damage for the most part, and that's light attacks. And then the light spam comes into play, especially on consoles. That's a massive fucking issue. And then, it just plays on one of the most cancerous things in the community that lots of pretty much everyone hates. But I do want to see all characters have an opener. I don't care if it's just a bash and you don't get guaranteed damage, okay? As long as they have something to open the character up and sort of stop them from turtling, and something that stops you from having to relegate to just being a light attack spamming bot, that would be nice and cool. But from that answer, it looks like they're not looking to do anything like that, which kind of sucks. Now, there were 2 more big questions, so we're going to pump through those, and then that's pretty much it for all the Q&A, for at least the important parts. So the second last one is question, you mentioned not letting stamina be drained while you're out of stamina, preventing permanent out of stamina. Is that still happening? The answer was they are actively working on this. Maybe it will freeze your stamina, pause the regen, etc. In theory, the out of stamina will only happen for a defined period of time rather than currently being indefinite. They are currently working out the weird cases like Raider's Stunning Tap, which sets you to 20 stamina, and the carry, which will continuously degenerate your stamina. So this is a very, very big issue, and I'm so happy that they're looking to fix this, because the amount of time when someone gets out of stamina, there's sort of, people just go super aggressive with their out of stamina moves, the ones that, drain you, punches, kicks, headbutts, bashes, everything. They'll just try and keep you there as long as they fucking can. And it's an absolute pain in the ass, and it's not fun for the person who's out of stamina. Now, yes, being out of stamina and making your opponent go out of stamina is part of the game, and is a good part of the game, because, it adds another layer of complexity to it. But at the same time, you gotta still make it fun. And if you do go out of stamina, which, you were having fun, you were throwing out all these attacks, you were having a good time, then all of a sudden, oh shit, my guy's winded, and then you just get bashed and bashed and bashed, and you just can never fucking get back into stamina. Once again, you're sitting there playing with your dick, and everyone else is having fun, and it's not fun, and it's shit. So I like the fact that they're trying to make it a set time frame, and not so much just a, as long as a person can keep you there, you're there. That is really, really cool. And then, it also will help a lot when you're in a 4v4 mode and you're getting bashed by 4 black priors. So yeah, that's not exactly fun. Or, you're getting picked up by one raider, he throws you on the ground, then you get up and you're like, okay, I'm still out of stamina, and then you get picked up by another raider and another one, and it's, once again, games are meant to be fun, make the game fun, and they're doing that, which is great. Now, the final question was about reducing the parry punish reward. Okay, so what you get from getting a parry, and depending on the parry you get, they want to try and reduce it. So that way you don't get as many guaranteed side heavies and so on and so forth. And essentially what Stefan said was that they don't want to do anything really like that when it comes to parry punishes, because if they were to make the light parry punish a light attack instead of a heavy, yeah, it will reduce the amount of heavies that are getting thrown out. It will sort of just like elongate the time it takes for you to kill people, and that's, once again, boring. The game needs to be quick to a certain degree and have like, a slow methodical pace to it, but at the same time, the game is always more fun, at least in my opinion, when you're throwing out attacks and you're murdering people all over the place, right? I don't like the whole slow type thing, and like, you have to hit someone 1 billion times just to fucking knock them out. I really do like where they're going with this, where he's like, where we could do it, but at the same time, it wouldn't make that big of a deal. It would sort of just like make things take longer. And when you're going for something to be, nice, fast, fluid, flashy, that type of gameplay, all of a sudden nerfing parry punishes and everything, so that way they're only guaranteed lights and making everything take longer is kind of boring. But I didn't agree with the second part of what he was saying, okay? Now, he said the healthiest response to all of this would be to simply make lights stronger, allowing you to get a little more damage in over the fight. This would make offense more important, which, yeah, it would, but will also keep defense potent and important, keeping depth of the gameplay. Now, I don't know how I feel about making lights stronger. Now, for those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, I'm of the opinion that a light attack is a light attack. It's supposed to be like a jab from boxing, okay? So you don't throw a jab out to knock someone clean out. You throw a jab out to test their reflexes, to sort of, throw them off, give them a few little love taps, get in their head and test the waters with them, and then you throw the right to knock them out. That's the heavy in the game. Lights are supposed to be these little chip things that you do. They're not supposed to be these hard, heavy hitting things. That's what heavies are for. Okay, I like heavies doing a lot of damage. Light attacks doing more damage, I don't really know. I don't know about lights being stronger, because then when you take into account the fact we have light spam, which is absolute clusterfuck, and then you take into account consoles and all the problems they have with light attacks and everything as well, and that's where the majority of the player base is, making lights stronger does not sound like a good thing to me. Doesn't sound like a good idea. And the fact that, Black Prize lights are already as strong as they are. Overall, I think lights should do a lot less than what they do, and they should be a lot less prevalent. They should be more of a test the water, get little, cuts down on the enemy, do a little bit of damage, and sort of like, use it to fake people out and see where they're going rather than actually doing damage. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where the devs go with that, if that's their line of thinking or their train of thought. So we could be in for a rough time if they start, like, you know, making lights hit harder and stuff, or make it more stronger. Whew, that could be weird. That could be a really weird time for Honor. But yeah, overall, that was the Q&A, and that was the whole Warriors Den and everything they said on there. There were a few other things in the Q&A, but those were the important things that I felt were important at least. But I do want to say overall, though, I do like the fact that they're taking the time to come out and discuss this stuff with us. They don't really have to. They can sort of just put out a quick blog post and go, here's the thing. But the fact that they go on the live stream and they actually sit down and answer questions and try to explain their rationale with what they're doing with stuff, I do really like that, and I hope they continue to do that in the future. I've always said that, and I really hope they do. But that is the end of the video, guys, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and let me know your thoughts. I love reading and replying to all your comments down below. And feel free to check out my Discord and Twitter. There is a link down below in the description box for both of those as well. The Discord is a great way for me to talk to you guys outside the YouTube comments section. And of course, the Twitter is a great way for you guys to get a notification whenever a video is being uploaded, because YouTube is a bit weird sometimes. And if you like this video and you like what I'm doing here on the channel and you want to support the channel further, feel free to check out my Patreon. There'll be a link down below in the description box, and a link will pop up at the end of the video. And if you choose to donate, it is greatly appreciated. And a big shout out to my current patrons whose names you've been seeing in the background. Just wanted to say thank you for your support. It really does mean a lot. And please share this video around. It does help me out a fuck ton. And if you want to see more videos from me, please hit the subscribe button. I shall see you all in the next video. Have a good one, guys.